Salutations, bronies! Persian Poetess here, and today I'm going to take a look at the modus operandi of one of MLP's darkest creatures, Changelings. After viewing the Canterlot Wedding two-parter, a morbid thought entered my mind. When invading a new land, do changelings aim to annihilate the inhabitants after draining them of their love? Or do they instead induce a living death, in which the populace are reduced to emotionless vegetables? Neither fate is more merciful for the changeling's prey, considering that scenario number 2 would still rob the victim of the life they knew and loved. In this video, I will refer to 3 different reference sources in order to determine what the ultimate goal of a changeling actually is. The first source I believe is beneficial to understanding their motivations is the study of parasites. In nature, parasites seek to find a host to feed off of for life-sustaining nutrients. In the process, the parasite's draining of the host can end up making the host gravely ill. This does not always result in death, however. Most parasites take just enough to keep their hosts barely alive, in order to have a consistent food supply. These are the most common form of parasites, which causes me to believe that changelings should be labeled as such. Unfortunately, the answer isn't that simple, considering that there is another form of parasite. These beastly things are known as Parasiteoids. Parasiteoids have an appetite that is so ravenous that they pretty much always end up killing their hosts. They also are wild reproducers and like to pop out as many children as they can while living on a host. Unlike parasites, however, parasitoids usually focus on one host and sustain themselves through parasitism in the immature stage of life. Once fully grown, they primarily feed through predation. Since parasitoids do not rely on parasitism as a sole source of food later in life, this further bolsters the evidence that changelings are more in line with standard parasites, and therefore do not aim to kill their prey. The second source that is worth examining in this discussion is the portrayal of changelings in fairy tales. Changelings usually are trolls or elves that replace human children. During their impersonation, they beg the captive child's parents to feed them food day and night without end. While looking up several iterations of these creatures, I rarely stumbled on a moment in which the changeling itself was violent to the stolen child or to its hosts. For example, in a German version of the tale, a suspicious farm wife decides to trick the changeling into revealing itself. She does so by serving his meal inside an eggshell. The sight looks so ridiculous to the changeling that it bursts out in laughter, reveals his changeling status, and returns the real child without shedding a single drop of blood. Guess who becomes violent in the alternate versions? The humans. Yeah, that's right, the humans end up throwing the changelings into an oven, or beating them black and blue with a stick. Based on this evidence, we can add yet another point in favor of changelings not being killers by nature. The final and most valuable source in our research of changeling parasitism is the Return of Queen Chrysalis story arc from the official Hasbro-licensed MLP comic series. Warning: the following segment contains spoilers. If you do not wish to hear these spoilers, click on the annotation below or skip to the timestamp shown on your screen. Also, please note, while the comics offer fascinating backstories, the show is and always will be the final say on what is canon in the universe of MLP. You're still here? Great! In the Return of Queen Chrysalis story arc, she takes the CMC trio hostage in an attempt to lure Twilight and the main 6 to her lair. The plan doesn't go as smoothly as she had hoped though. During their captivity, the CMC cause Chrissy to reach her wit's end with their non-stop babbling. In an attempt to shut them up, she pulls out a kitten her horde abducted from a place known as Wovey-Dovey Smoochy Land. In the panel following this, a gruesome black splat is shown, and the poor Wovey-Dovey Smoochian is nowhere to be seen or heard from again. Oh boy, this doesn't help the parasitism argument, does it? Bear with me just a little longer. It is in the final showdown between Queen Chrysalis and Twilight that I believe the mystery is finally solved. During the battle, Chrysalis ensnares Twilight and threatens to drain her friends of all the love that they possess unless Twilight agrees to teach her all the magic she knows. After Twilight reluctantly agrees, Chrysalis reveals her true plans in the following statement.
Saving your friends is a nice sentiment, really. But I'll still drain you of your love, just not your magic. You'll be much more compliant with a black heart. And after you're as cold as me, you'll drain your ex-friends yourself.
As I was saying, this exchange of dialogue reveals the core mentality of a changeling. What good is killing when they can fill their need for love or power? By limiting the amount of casualties they rack up as they drain, they not only grow fat off the love of the land, but they also gain access to a massive legion of emotionless slaves. So in other words, the changelings practice the most effective hearts and minds campaign any of us have ever seen. This is Persian Poetess signing out and reminding you that friendship is so delicious.
This day has been just perfect, the kind of day of which I dreamed since I was small. Every pony I'll soon control, every stallion, mare and foal. Who says a girl can't really have it all?